This is Celtics
with that
Roundtable
news.
on the
So,
Boston Celtics news feed. Matt Ignal, Sam Sheehan, Lucky's Pipe. Don't watch the last one we just did. What's up, Sam?
So as of 11 minutes ago, Mark Murphy, who I believe is Boston Herald, is that correct? Yeah, Boston Herald, reporting that source says that Marcus Smart has not heard from the Celtics since the start of free agency, and he's, quote, hurt and disgusted. So not great news coming from Mark Murphy. Quick adjustments. This is as of 3 minutes ago. Walter McCarty jumping in, saying, sources, crying emoji, sources are funny people sometimes. So Walter certainly seems to think that this is not true. But Mark Murphy, usually a pretty reliable guy. He's not quite like Bullpet, Himmelsbach, or Forsberg or any of those guys, but still like a pretty solid Celtics reporter. So that's not great.
So who would give this information to him? Is it Smart's camp?
It must be Smart's camp, I would think. Smart's kind of caught between a rock and a hard place here, where like it's looking like he's either going to need to work with the Celtics on something, some sort of multi-year deal, whether that's 2, 3, or 4, or just take the qualifying offer. I don't think the Celtics are going to be looking to give him much more than the qualifying offer out of the goodness of their hearts, but what they might do is, something where they give him a much larger sum. I think the qualifying offer for him is something like 6 point something. So they could give him, as much as like $11 million, and then sort of structure it similar to the Amir Johnson, Jonas Jerebko trades of past, where the second year is totally non-guaranteed. It gives the Celtics flexibility. Smart would get locked in for another year, but then he also, wouldn't have that no trade clause. So maybe that's what Smart's camp might be angling for, but it's I
don't think it's a surprise that he's upset, like given what he said to the media about his free agency in the past, with cap space drying up rapidly around the league, and Boston facing a tight financial situation going forward. I think a lot of this was eminently predictable. What the final outcome is, who's to say at this point, but I remain confident that Marcus Smart is going to stay in green. What say you, Lucky?
Well, my first question would be, if he does take the qualifying offer, does that mean we lose his bird rights if we wanted to re-sign him as a free agent?
No, we would still get his bird rights, but we would lose matching rights in restricted free agency. So he could, and especially if he's mad, he could leave. You know what I'm saying? So, so that's not great. Where Celtics would then have to actually outbid. They wouldn't have matching rights like they do this year, which is why Smart can make more money, because the matching rights kind of chase teams away at this point.
Doesn't it feel like they're going to reach like some sort of compromise here, where maybe the Celtics don't get, Sam, what you proposed earlier, which is a very team-friendly deal, but give a little leeway to Marcus so he saves face, remains happy, and I think they want him on the Celtics long term. Can they navigate that path in your mind?
I think that is the compromise. Well, kind of what I was proposing there was the compromise. I think the Celtics would ideally like to give him an Avery Bradley deal, but I think Smart ideally would like to get back on the free agent market next year. I think a good compromise is a 2-year deal where Smart can get back on in 2 years, but the Celtics also don't only get him for 1 year, and also get a higher, because the other side bonus is I think the Celtics do kind of want to pay Marcus 8 figures, just not for a long period of time, because they want to be able to have matching salary for trades. They don't really have any mid-sized contracts for your Anthony Davises, or if you think a Kawhi Leonard deal might be able to get done without including Jaylen Brown, that might be what the Celtics are thinking. But I think that would be the compromise. Would be something like where it's double digits. I'd maybe even go as high as $13 million if they're okay with paying the tax for 2 years, with the second year totally non-guaranteed. And even in the worst case scenario, if your non-guaranteed money gets cut, guess what? You're back on the free agent market just like you would have been if you had taken the qualifying offer. So it seems to make a lot of sense for both parties.
But how much room do they have to stay out of the tax? That's obviously not that much.
It's probably like 8, 9, 10 million, depending on what you do with it. Cutting Nader saves them about $1 million. But then you could also think about trading Marcus Morris, who I think is kind of is depth right now, but on a healthy team might be a little upset with his role. You know what I'm saying? The Celtics would almost need an injury to keep Marcus Morris happy at this point. And I think you could get something, you could get a valuable piece for Marcus Morris. You know, like, wouldn't Houston might give up something pretty nice for Marcus Morris, a cost-controlled asset who can actually play rotation minutes. You know,
I'm a little terrified of facing Mook in the finals.
Yeah, Mook in the finals would not.
You know
be
he's just going to go off
that.
against the Celtics.
But I just think he's a valuable asset who doesn't have a lot of value on the Celtics as presently constructed. He had a ton of value for the Celtics last year, but a lot of that was due to injuries and depth. You know, maybe knock on wood, you know, maybe the Celtics have the same injury bug, but I really doubt it. So, you know, like,
so do you believe that with all your heart he was tremendously valuable for the Celtics last year?
Yeah, he was like, pretty valuable
like
for
15 games.
Yeah, no, he
really good.
for
$5
$5
million
until
the playoffs.
I mean, those minutes would have gone to like Abdel Nader, you know, like, so we gotta keep it in perspective.
I can see. All right, so how panicked are you guys, scale of 1 to 10, about Marcus Smart given this latest news? We think it's coming from Smart's camp, so you know whether he's upset or his agent is upset, there might be some harsh feelings here. Where are you guys 1 to 10?
I think I don't know. I'm a little bit alarmed because I was pretty confident the Celtics and Smart would work out a compromise. This is not that alarming overall because still kind of the worst case scenario for the Celtics at this point is that he takes the qualifying offer, which is still a pretty decent outcome for the Celtics. It's just not the best. So I think this just makes it, if he's actually upset, that makes it much more likely he'll just take the qualifying offer. And if he is upset and does play out the year on a qualifying offer, it's not great for chemistry. You know, we saw the Nerlens Noel getting a hot dog and stuff like that. You know, if you feel like your team's not showing you respect or anything like that.
But can the Celtics afford that, being that they see themselves as championship contenders and Marcus Smart's a big part of that culture? Like, that's why I'm thinking that, you know, maybe they want to give a little bit. So
right. Well, and that's why this report doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Like, I would think they would be having dialogues with Marcus. You know,
I mean, who knows if it's true? I just think it's indicative of their feelings. Go ahead, Lucky.
Yeah, I'd say, like, my level of concern, will he be on the Celtics to start the season, is like a 1. Like, I think he's going to be on the Celtics. This is concerning to his long-term future with the Celtics, which I'm heavily invested in because he's badass and he is the arbiter of chaos and hell. So that would suck. But if they're waiting to contact him until they get a deal like Mook, so they can trade him, shed some money, and then lock him up long term for like 4 years at, like, you know, $14 million or something, then I think it's good for all sides. But I can understand if Smart, like, they should probably be contacting him if that's the game plan, and it's not good if they're not. But I don't know.
Yeah, I would be really surprised if they haven't, like, reached out to him during this time. I just think that it's like that it's Marcus Smart's team saying, like, hey, we want more than we're being offered. Well,
shout out to Brian L. Dude on Twitter, who you pointed out, like, wasn't Smart in the facility? Like, he was in, like, the Auerbach Center earlier. Like, it would be insane if, like, everyone hid from him, and like those offices are made out of glass.
Only windows in that place.
Yeah, right. Like, what do you have to get behind, construct like a little fort, and Danny leaping into the fort so Marcus can't see him. A very Curb Your Enthusiasm type of scenario.
Very sophisticated.
Just hide in the obvious ass the whole time.
That's our true fan base right there. All right. That'll do it on this edition of Celtics Roundtable. You can, if you like this show, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to CLNS Media on YouTube for more content. You can also check us out on the go by subscribing to the Boston Celtics newsfeed, available on your favorite podcast app or by downloading the CLNS Media mobile app. That was Sam Sheehan and Lucky's Pipe. I forgot to do an ad read, so let's do it right now. This show was brought to you by Simple Contacts. Shop for lenses the easiest way possible at simplecontacts.com. Use the promo code CelticsBeat at checkout for $30 off your first order. Again, that's simplecontacts.com.